We need to talk about this story for a moment. A 26-year-old lady by the name of Blessing Karami mysteriously went missing on the 11th of September 2023 after she had closed from work and was heading back to her place at Lube in Abuja, where it was said she lived and I think most likely lived alone. But the problem is, after she closed from work that day on Monday, 11th of September, heading home, she never got home. The last anyone saw of her was when she took a taxi at Area 3 Junction. It's most likely a co-worker or somebody around where she works that may have spotted her. So after being unable to reach her brother by the name of Moses Karami traveled all the way from his family home, because the brother is a family man, where he lived in Kaduna with his family. He had to leave Kaduna and travel back to Abuja to start looking for his sister. And this is where things started getting really weird. Now, around this time, she had been reported, because it was around Monday 11 that she went missing. And after being unable to reach her, somewhere along the line, it was said that a police report was filed. So the police started treating it as a missing persons case. And while Moses had already begun the search along with friends and well-wishers, the police took into custody her boyfriend, a man named Aminu. I don't think there's a picture of him yet circulating, because at the time he was a person of interest. And somehow it was gathered that Aminu and Blessing had planned to meet after work that same day. So it's either she was going back home to get ready to go and meet Aminu, or she was going directly to Aminu's home when she got missing. And so the search began for Blessing Karami. She's a student of National Open University, and at the same time she had a 9-to-5 job. And it's also clear that she had a social media presence where she shares her thoughts and, her personal life. However, when the search began, Moses, Blessing's brother, got a strange call from an anonymous person claiming he knows where his sister was. And this is where I think the police does have a lead, because clearly right now somebody is behind the disappearance of this young girl. And every single time this said caller would call and give them an information, give them a direction of where to find the girl. And at a point, they stopped and paused and asked the caller, okay, what outfit was she wearing? And that was when the caller described the exact outfit that Blessing was putting on where he claimed he had seen her. So this was when they pretty much thought, okay, this caller is credible. This caller has indeed seen Blessing. But the problem is, this caller kept misleading them. This caller kept changing location as to where they could find the sister. And it became clear that this caller was just playing with them, was playing a prank on them. That is what is being reported. It hasn't been said whether or not what the police plan to do with this call, but the caller did not get an ID. It's not clear if they traced the call. I'm sure the person called with a private number. And I don't know what tech skills the police are equipped with to be able to find out who indeed actually called. But sources are claiming that people are still confused as to the call, that it might have been a prank. But I have an opinion on that matter, because personally, I don't think it's a prank. I mean, for the person to describe the exact outfit that this young girl might have been wearing on the day she went missing, the person clearly knew something. And who pranks call someone who does that? It's very insensitive and very vicious. And that is why, personally, I feel like this so-called call was not a prank, and the person who was calling knew something and was trying to do something. And we will talk about that in a moment. The search for Blessing Karami continued, and unfortunately, on the 20th of September, on a Wednesday, her decomposing body was found in a bush around Kamu in Abuja. And at the time she was found, her body had decomposed badly, so bad that the police could not even move her. It's not clear if they did an autopsy, but it was said after her body was discovered, they called a special unit to take her out and seeing how badly decomposed she was. It's not clear if an autopsy was done or if it was checked what could have possibly killed her, but eventually she was buried. They could not even take her body back home, as I think she came from another state. So she couldn't be taken back home for burial. They had to quickly bury her in Abuja there, just a few days after she was found. In addition to being a student, she was also a businesswoman who had a makeup business. And like we said earlier, she had a social media presence where she shares her business and where she also shared her life. Somewhere around the 16th of July 2023, she made a post on how she survived a very terrible accident on her way to Abuja. And in that post, she said that that was the third time she was coming close to death. Unfortunately, the fourth time was what got her. Her death currently is being looked into and is being seen as homicide. She was murdered. But the question is who? Now, it's been said that the boyfriend has been taken into custody and the police believe that he knew something. We don't know the details of what the investigation is going on with. We don't know what is happening. And it's not clear what their relationship looked like. Personally, there's not enough visible details to work with. So I can see the police getting frustrated at some point. And citing the condition in which her body was found, I do not think an autopsy was done. Abuja is a place where horrible things happen. People get kidnapped and people get used for ritual. People get killed. So it's not really clear what could have happened. Was she hijacked in the vehicle that she entered going back home? That is actually possible. Abuja is one of those places in Nigeria where entering into public transport can be risky at times. There's a lot of one chance in Abuja. We've seen this story multiple times. People getting robbed in a vehicle. People getting kidnapped while entering a taxi. These things happen, but we don't know what her situation would be. We don't know what her situation really was. However, the fact that there was a phone call that kept directing the brother in a different direction makes me feel like whoever killed this girl knew what they were doing. Whoever killed this girl most likely knew the girl, because I don't think it was a prank call, like I said, because the person clearly described her outfits. And I feel like even though it wasn't, or it might have not been a prank call, it is very possible that the person was only just misleading them so they don't find her quickly. The person knew where her body was, but the person just kept directing them somewhere else with hopes that by the time they get to find her, it might be too late. And which it turned out to be, because when she was found, she was already badly decomposed. It's not clear how she was able to be identified, but it was said her condition was bad. And it has not been said if an autopsy was done on her to know if she was beaten, raped, poisoned, shot, or stabbed. That information would most likely give the police a mapping point to work with, to give the police an idea on how to go about their investigation. Could it be armed robbery? Was her phone stolen? Has her phone been traced? And since the boyfriend is in custody, what does the boyfriend know? Because it's believed that even when the boyfriend was in the police custody, the prank call was still coming in. So that may kind of set the boyfriend off the hook, except if the boyfriend did it, he might have not been working alone. Because one thing I've noticed with the crime in Abuja, the uniqueness of how certain crime works in Abuja is the fact that more than one person can commit one particular crime. A lot of the crimes that we've talked about that came from Abuja City were mostly done by a group of people. Like the Benue girl that was killed and her baby was found at the church turned out to be the friend and side chick who hired people to kidnap and kill her. Then when we talk about Toriseju Emmanuel, the same thing, a group of people. When we talk about the chef that was killed by more than one person. So that is something that is common with crime in Abuja. It's usually done by more than one person. It's usually done by somebody who hires more than a group of people. So I don't think I'm going to let the boyfriend off the hook now, because I feel like there's that tendency, given the nature in which crimes are being committed in Abuja, that this boyfriend may have hired people to do the dirty work or to assist him do the dirty work. To clear him off the hook, they need to know what he stands to gain. They need to know the financial situation he had with the girl. They need to know where money from her account went to. They need to know what transfer had been done from this girl's account into his account. They need to know what he stands to gain from her. They also need to know if she was pregnant. Because if she was pregnant and he knew, that could be a motive to kill her. And since it's Abuja, they also need to know if he's married, if he has a family already, because that could also be another thing. There's just a lot of questions that need to be answered when it comes to this girl's case if anything wants to move on. And for the phone call that came, I don't know how the police plan on doing it. I don't know how the police plan on tracing it. I feel like they should have done it when the call kept coming, because they said this call kept coming multiple times until her body was eventually found. I feel like in those times that this call was coming, Moses should have gone to the police and this call should have been traced with the best technology they could find to find a way to get this caller and know who is calling. Because I don't know, and I don't think they can do it right now that it's almost over. I don't know. It's such an unfortunate situation, and I do feel bad that with the way this situation is looking, it will be easy for no one to be held accountable. There's a lot of cases in Abuja right now that is stalling, and we don't even know the updates. It's almost as if somehow, somewhere, when the police make a good move, it's silence. All they have to do is find a group of suspects, and we'd never get to hear how and why these people were killed. Unless, of course, it's very glaring and visible. We just have to hope and see how this story unfolds. Hopefully the police are able to get their lead. And hopefully, since the boyfriend is now a suspect, he is questioned because he was supposed to be the last person to see her. They had plans to see that day. So he might know something that many of us don't. However, guys, thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Turn on your notification button so if there's an update on this story, I'll let you guys know and you'll be the first to get notified. Thank you.